Akash INTI, the real reflection of you. Dramatic head or hat tilts because, I don't know, I kind of just felt like it. Anyways, what's going on in my life? Well, candidly, a bit irritated actually right now. And nothing like really, I take a look at my life, I'm like, what could I possibly be irritated about? Incredible day. I was able to work out quite a bit, got some yoga in, got some martial arts in, got to have breakfast with my dad, played a little bit with my little brother, got some business stuff done, just hanging out, I was able to spend some time just at Starbucks, kind of lounging around, dressing how I want to, as always, taking advantage of the sun, getting a little bit of tanning in for just the purposes while I was walking, And then at the same time, I find myself like out of nowhere, just like irritated, right? It's like, dude, how could I possibly? There's such a beautiful scent right now, and I don't know what it is, but it's like, man, how do I describe this? I wish I knew the name of the flower because it's such a fresh, summery scent, right? It's almost like the scent of, man, I don't even know. It's irking me now because it's so beautiful. It literally brings a smile to my soul and to my heart, just to be able to smell it. It's like, it's divine. It makes me, it's almost like, it's like one of the scents that I would say is like very arousing. I think it's this flower actually. It's totally this flower. So if you guys can identify this flower, it's a whole tree of them. If you can identify that flower, well, that flower really, that scent is like, super arousing to me. Hinge to the ladies. I'm just playing around. Look at me. I'm spitting all over my phone now. But see how I went from, oh man, I'm a little irritated to now completely different. And it's just so interesting to me how quickly that can change. Right, just before I was like sneezing, I was like, my eye or my nose was like a little like runny, right? And I've had this quite a bit throughout the couple days, right? Or whenever I last checked, and even probably before that. It's just something that comes with the territory of, well, this is like spring right now, and it's transitioning into summer. And part of the things about spring to summer transitions is all the pollen that comes about and all that stuff. So it's all good. Makes me realize more and more how like the smallest of things can just irritate me for no reason, right? It could be a person, right? Just the way someone maybe interacts and maybe I just don't like it or something like that. It could be just the way that I don't know, just feel on the inside, There's just so many things that, man, it's so interesting to me how fragile, really how fragile the human psyche and the human experience is, The smallest of things can totally set me off in like one direction or another. And so, I don't know, I just find it super important to be very vigilant about that, right? To be very aware of, okay, well, what's really going on with me? What have I subjected myself to today? For better or for worse, right? Whether it was of my own volition and I chose it on my own, or something that kind of came out of nowhere that I couldn't have done anything to prepare for. I was listening to something earlier today, and I don't remember what it was exactly. I think it was one thing, but I don't necessarily know. Anyways, so I'm not gonna like say, oh, it was this. But anyways, what I'm trying to say, or what I was thinking about in that train of thought, was how, oh man, I just forgot it. It was like literally on the tip of my tongue. Okay, now I kind of have to at this point say like what it was that was like on my mind. That I was like, oh, maybe I won't share this. Maybe I will. So there's this thing called, it's a music video on YouTube. It was like a speech by Baz Luhrmann. He gave a speech to the class of 99, I don't know what college, some university. And he was like the keynote speaker. And it's called Wear Sunscreen, right? I specifically love, like, there's like a Hawaiian mix, and I don't know, I just like it, right? I remember I listened to it first in college. That's when I was first exposed to it. I think it was freshman year, so it was probably the year of 2016, or no, 2012. Wow, that's wild. Anyways, that's when I first heard it, and then there on after, I hadn't really listened to it in quite some time. I think I listened to it right around graduation. It was like, oh yeah, that's kind of like a theme. Yeah, let me check this out. Anyways, so that was what I was like gonna skip, but now I've clearly not skipped. And what came up to me is how the idea that like anything in our lives is a mixture of hard work, like anything that we become, anything that we deem success, anything that we accomplish really is a mixture of hard work, right? Must acknowledge the hard work and the dedication and the effort that's gone into a specific area, but also luck, right? There's two components to it, and that's for everything, right? I can put it in the context of my own life, right? For me, one of my accomplishments that I would say is that, and not in a way that's bragging or anything like that, just simply this is me, right? These are the things that I've done. Is making it to working, going to college, right? That's huge, which I probably don't acknowledge enough, right? There's plenty of people who haven't gone to college. It's something that I did, and yeah, I think it's whatever. So that was one. Working on Wall Street, working at Capitol Hill, working in a lab, right? Like an academic lab, doing biology research. I got a couple things that are pretty cool that I've done in my life. And if I really look at it, they're all a mixture of hard work and luck, right? There's certain things that I could have never predicted that would happen. And yet at the same time, that's exactly what brought me to where I am today. And so I say this because, I don't know, it's so easy to be like, oh man, because I'm looking at my own business, right? I'm looking at my own life sometimes, especially moving forward, right? It's a lot easier to see these things in the rearview mirror in the past and notice the patterns of them. And kind of take note of the patterns of them. It's something maybe I ought to do a bit more. And I encourage really everyone to do, right? Is really look at what worked and the things that we did well, right? I don't know if you're super young, maybe you're a teenager watching this, maybe you're 40 years old, maybe you're 60 years old, right? And it doesn't matter. At any age, we're always striving for something new, for more, whatever, right? Every single moment that every living being has, we don't know what comes next, right? And we're always working towards something. Even if you're not working towards anything, you're working towards not working towards anything, and that is working towards something. So all of this to say that we're all working towards something, but whenever we're working towards something, we have a goal, we want something to happen, and if it doesn't happen, we're like, maybe we're not exactly like that, but you get the gist of it, right? So it's to me, take a look, this is a message to myself, right? It's take a look back at the things that I consider accomplishments and that I did well, or that I achieved whatever my goal was, whether consciously or unconsciously, right? I think we do this consciously and unconsciously. What were the things that I did that got me there, right? So, all to say, a little reminder for me. And it's so interesting to me how over these, a little over 8 minutes now, how so much has happened, right? Each of these videos to me is a vignette of the day, right? Vignette being a short little story that almost encapsulates, then obviously whomever the viewer is gets a perspective of, okay, what's going on with this guy and how is he expressing himself and what's just going on in his life, And a lot of it really is for me, right? I make a lot of these videos, so years down the road, I can check them out and be like, oh my gosh, I remember that day. I remember exactly what I was going through. And I don't know, to be able to put those stories in the context of my larger story, right? So I don't know why I always feel I almost feel I have to justify what I'm doing sometimes, but at the same time, I really don't, I'm only justifying it to myself if I'm really being honest and candid about that, which is actually kind of cool. I think it's actually important to justify to ourselves, but we don't really need to justify to anyone else, depending on what we're doing, right? There's always circumstances. You take money from someone and they're like, okay, we'll give you money, but what are you going to do with our money? Well, maybe you need to justify a little bit. What are you going to do with their money and how are you going to make it back, right? That's from an investment perspective, but I'm not an investment guy, right? I don't know. Oh, lastly, just because I'm walking by them right now and I absolutely love flowers, if you're ever going to get me a gift, get me flowers, check these guys out. Beautiful. I absolutely love them. They just look insanely beautiful. So that's all I have to say for right now. Keep up, thrive, and stay sexy.